Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. How is everybody today? Going to this Wednesday afternoon. Might be still morning for some of you. So glad you guys are here. This is the From Vision to Victory workshop. This workshop is, we're going to set the precedence. We're going to create some big visions. We're going to help you break that down into actionable steps, what goals you want for this next year. This builds on itself as we go. So it is important that you stay for the whole thing because this is about setting you up for success. These next few hours, and yes, we will be spending a few hours together, are going to save you so much time because now you're going to have a plan in place. You're going to have these actionable goals that you can take the next step on as you guys get going. So let us know in the chat. I see some of you put in there where you are coming in from. See, we've got Minnesota. Hi, Lynn. Great to see you. Timothy from Mexico. Awesome. Glad you're here with us, Timothy. Hello. Awesome. Olympia, Washington. Samantha, good to see you here. And yes, this is recorded. So I know there are circumstances sometimes, right, that get in the way. We will send out the recording to those who are registered so you can watch that. But I do recommend, because this is what I see happen to most people, is they're like, have every intention to go back and watch the replay, and then they never come back to it. Never get there. So if you do, for some reason, have to step away, put time in your calendar right now to come back and complete it. So that way, you know, you've got it scheduled and you're going to do this, because this is one of my favorites to do every year because it sets the precedence for everything you do going forward. It is going to help you set up for success. We're going to dive deep into some of these action plans and what you need to be doing and what you need to not be doing, because that's just as important. But understanding how this big vision that you want for your life, what that means, and how do you get there? And so as we go through this, I just want to share a few of my goals for you here at this workshop. You guys are all seeing my screen, my goals there. You guys see that now? Okay, just want to make sure everyone's still seeing the same screens. My goal for you is that I've got multiple screens here. And so I'm just moving everything around, making sure so my head moves. That's what I'm doing. Make sure that I can see everything that you guys can see and see you guys at the same time. My goal is to help you get a clear vision of what you want to achieve. Not just, okay, this would be nice. I want to do this, but I'm not sure if I should. Or, this is something I've always strived to achieve, but I don't ever seem to be doing. But what is this clear vision for you? What do you want? What is it going to be? What does that look like? And we're going to help you narrow down and prioritize those into your goals for this next year, because not everything will be achievable in the next year. And we're going to talk about what that looks like and what that means and how do you make sure you're still making progress to some of those bigger long-term things that you want to do as well. We're going to help you understand and know exactly what next steps you need to take in the next 90 days and how to decrease the overwhelm with a plan in place. So you're going to walk away with all of this and so much more today. We've got a lot in here. So make sure, first of all, you have the workbook. Let me paste that in the chat just in case there are any of you who did not grab the workbook yet, because this is everything that we're going to be going through. And if for some reason you can't download that right now, grab a pen and paper. Like, you can do all this in pen and paper. We're going to give you the questions. We're going to give you everything you need, but it's great to have the workbook. The workbook is fillable, so you don't have to have it printed, but I know some people like to have it printed. I know Lynn probably has hers printed there because she likes to write. She's like, yeah, Darshia the same, right? So whatever works best for you. I am, and any of you who have ever worked with me, you know that anything I give you will always be editable on the computer, because I try to save paper person, and I like to have everything on paper where I can look it up, because then next year I can be like, okay, I don't have to worry about where did I put that piece of paper to go back and look for it. Now I know where it is and I can just search for it. So grab that if you don't already have it. just a little bit about me, because some of you are new to my world. And so welcome, welcome. Some of you have been with me for years and you're just coming back, and welcome back. And so I wanted to just share just a few things, and then the rest of this is going to be all about you. So I am a farm girl originally from Michigan, where I learned the value of hard work and realized that I did not want to be a hands-on farmer and do that kind of hard work. So I became a CPA and I went and got my degree, went into accounting. I now call myself a recovering CPA. I worked over 20 years in corporate leadership roles, and now have my own business where I help people to get the success that they're looking for, help them create the OMG moments they want in their life, and help their businesses thrive and be more successful. And so as I started my business, I started off as a leadership and career coach because I had so much experience in leadership and I loved some of the leaders. And I also felt there were some leaders who really needed some help. Any of you ever had one of those? And those, I wanted to see better leadership in our world, in our lives. And so it's a big part of what I bring into everyone that I coach with is, what is your leadership style? What do you need to do in order to be a better leader? And as I evolved, I had more and more people start coming to me saying, hey, how did you go from being a VP in a Fortune 100 company to starting your own business? And my coach finally said to me, would you just go teach these people how to do it? And so I started working with people, getting their businesses started, growing their businesses. And I've worked with, multiple six-figure $1 million businesses to help them expand and grow their businesses over the last few years. And it's been a fun journey and experience. And so looking back, I get to say, okay, where did I start? And what did that mean? And some of you I know saw the post I made in a couple of our groups today. And I just wanted to share a little bit about this with you for those of you who didn't see it. I realized this week I had to go back and remember why I started, remember some of the things that really pushed and drove me to be where I'm at and to do what I do. And the reason I started reflecting about this is because we had a friend pass away earlier this week. Unexpectedly, he was only 41, has a young daughter. She is really good friends with our daughter. We were supposed to go to Belgium with them next summer. They're, good friends who we had a lot of respect for. We, enjoyed doing things with, even though they are in a completely another state now. And it reminded me of the value of our life. How life is so unpredictable. We do not know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone next week or next year or 10 years from now. But we get to choose what we want to do today. We get to choose in this moment how we want to spend it. We get to choose what we want to work towards and what we want to change. And it was a reminder to me to look back at all of the things that are going right and going well, and all of the things that haven't gone so well and I want to change still, and take that moment to reflect on, why did I start this business? And the reason I started my business was a combination of a few things, as it normally is for most people when you're making a big transition. Things start to compile and they stack on top of each other. And one of the things that happened, and I won't go into the whole story, but I just had a difficult situation at work. I felt like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. I felt that I hit a glass ceiling and I didn't know how to get past that. Around the same time, I also had 3 friends pass away from cancer. And long story short, I had 5 friends who all in the same year were diagnosed with breast cancer. They all went into remission. A couple of years later, 3 of them got cancer back, and they ended up all passing away within a year of each other. And one of them, who was a dear friend of mine that I went to high school with, and we used to do girls' trips together. There were 4 of us that always hang out. And I had just spent a week with her and her family up in Chicago a week before she passed. She passed a week after I left. And I always remember her coming to me saying, Tami, what am I going to do when I grow up? And it was this running joke that we had, because she could never quite figure it out. She could never figure out what exactly she wanted to do with her career, with her life, and those things. And as I started going through the situation in my career, where I always thought I knew my trajectory, I knew that I was going to move up in corporate and just keep going. And I hit a wall where I was like, I don't love the politics. I do not want to bend to be the person they want me to be. And I kept hearing her voice in my head saying, what am I going to do when I grow up? And now I was the one at that point that needed to decide, what did I want to do when I grew up? And even though I was still in my 40s already, or 30, I was in my late 30s at that point, I still had to figure that out. And it was this transition of, what do I do next? And I know many of you have hit that point where something has shifted, something has changed, and you're like, oh, I need to figure out this next step. And others of you are just like on this trajectory and you're like, how do I continue on this? And how do I can keep growing? And how do I get there? So wherever you are, you're in the right place. It's okay. And we're going to take a look at, where do you go from here? And because of some of my reflection and remembering why I started this business, I did open this up. When I send you guys the recording, if you want others to listen to this and do their vision and get to their goals and their action plans, please share it with them. Because my mission today is really just to serve more people and to get more people to what they want to do. What is your big vision? What do you want to create? And how do you get there? So I've not done that before in the past. I am going to open this up for free. You guys can share it, because I just want to see more people touched. I want to see more people being really clear on what they want, getting the clarity they need, getting that confidence and courage to step out and go do it in that way. And so I'm also a wife to a chiropractor here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we have two beautiful girls, and traveling is one of our hobbies. It is one of my favorite hobbies. My daughter calls us the traveling family, and we love to just take trips and do different things and explore new places and new worlds and give them that experience. And so as we go throughout this, I'm actually going to turn off my camera just because I want you to focus on you. I'd love, those of you who have your cameras on, I'd love to see you, because that helps me know where you're at. If you want to keep your cameras on, but I understand, like, if you're working on something, you want to shut that off, but I want you to really stay focused on you throughout this. So we are going to be diving in and getting really clear. So you guys ready? Give me some thumbs up. Give me some I'm ready in the chat if you are ready to build out your big vision. I see some thumbs up. All right. All right. All right. I love that you guys are here and you're showing up for yourselves, because this is so important. And, I know that doing this is a process that my husband and I started doing, 7, 8 years ago. And the first time we went through it, we were like, holy cow, this is amazing. And I have tweaked it and I have changed it and we've added things. And so even if you've gone through this before with me, I know a couple of you have, there will be some new things that you see in here that you haven't seen before. And I'm ready and excited for you guys. So who here is ready for some more OMG moments they want to create in their lives so that they can hit their big visions? Give me an OMG in the chat. I like to use OMG moments. If those of you who haven't been around me, OMG moments are those moments that like excite you and scare you at the same time. Those moments that you're like, I want to do this, but there's something holding you back. And when you finally do, you're like, OMG, I cannot believe I just did this. I cannot believe I just spoke on stage. I cannot believe I just did my first retreat. I cannot believe that I just wrote my book. I cannot believe that I did all of these things that you want to do, whatever that is for you. It's unique to you and who you are. So I love all the OMGs in the chat. Thank you for that. As we get going, make sure you have your phones silenced. I've put mine on do not disturb. Make sure we don't have any disruptions, because I want you to really stay focused. Stay focused on you. Stay focused on this. We will be together for a while. As we work, you'll see there's going to be times where I'm playing some music and letting you do some work. If you need to get up and use the restroom or get a drink, refresh, shake, get a little dance move on, shake around, get some energy movement for yourself. Feel free to do that. Come back and join right back in. We will, depending on time, see how much time we can take as little as additional breaks in there as well. So the first thing I want you to do, if you flip to that first page, past the cover page, is write down 10 things that you've accomplished already that you are proud of. It can be anything that you've done that makes you proud when you think back on your life. It doesn't have to be important to anyone else, just you. It's time to give yourself credit for what you've done. And when I do a similar exercise at my retreats, I have them write down more than 50 things that they have done. So you guys are getting off for easy, coming up with 10 things that make you smile when you think about doing them. It could be things like getting your degree, getting a promotion you received, a speech that you gave, a competition that you won, a big decision that you made. I know you've done some pretty spectacular things in your life. And so these don't have to be from the last year. These can be from any time in your life. So this should be fairly easy. But I'm going to give you a couple minutes to come up with your 10 things. And as you do that, I want you to write them out, type them out into your workbook. But I would love for you to type a couple of them in the chat as well, so other people can see who you are and what you've done and celebrate with you. I know one of the things for me that I was proud of, just because I said I was never going to write a book. I didn't have any intention of writing a book. But when I did write my book, that was one of my OMG moments, because it was like, oh my goodness, I finally did this. But when I got really clear on what the message is that I wanted to have, the book ended up just pouring out of me. So let's see, what are some of your OMG moments? And I will cue up some music just for a couple minutes as you complete that.
This groundbreaking block method is helping people lose weight while they sleep. Doctors have developed a method that triggers your body to burn calories. Thousands of men and women have shed pounds by following this simple dietary change. It doesn't need any strenuous exercise or starvation diets. Imagine feeling lighter, more energetic, and healthy. The billion-dollar weight loss industry doesn't want you to discover this secret plant method. Click the Learn More button below before this information is taken down.
You're a business owner who's stuck at 6 figures, who's burning out, working 10 hours.
Awesome. I see some coming into the chat. Let me know. Can you guys hear that music okay? Was the volume okay? Sorry about the ads that started. I realized I had shut down all my apps, including my music. Just give me a thumbs up if you could hear that okay. Awesome. I see Timothy put he built and maintained a large practice for over 45 years. Congratulations. My husband just celebrated his 22nd year as a chiropractor. Awesome. And have inspired 30 young people to become chiropractors. I love that, Timothy. This is, being able to take what you do and inspire others is such an incredible thing, right? Being able to utilize your expertise and helping them through that makes such an impact. So Lynn was sharing, she started her workshop. So anxiety of not enough time is still there. All right, so I see Tiara Shia. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. The published 4 books, started your business, and so many more things. I'm going to read a couple of them there. So awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. Paige, a therapeutic horseback riding of the year 2021. Awesome, awesome. My girls are into horseback riding. We have riding lessons tomorrow. And 2-minute promo video done. Excellent. And business presentation at your first pitch competition. I love it. Love it. So many good things. Timothy said he moved to Mexico and built a new life. Angeline, family vacation in Hawaii, which I know was like super relaxing, Angeline. Just like perfect for what you needed. Yeah, so many great things coming in. Paid off your car, collaborations, raised 2 amazing sons, beautiful, and with your wife 31 years. Congratulations. Published a book, Kendra. Congratulations. You guys are all amazing. You guys, I love being able to see everything coming in, what people have done. And we start from this point because I want you to start from a place of knowing that you have done some really hard things and you've overcome a lot of things. And so you can do a lot. You can do so much more. And so when we start from this place of gratitude and appreciation for what we've already done, it helps set us up for this next phase. And so next, I want you to take a look at this next exercise. I have way too many screens up here. Sorry about that. It's just flipping back and forth between all of these screens so I can see you guys and read the chat. So next, I want you to think about what worked well for you over the last year. We looked at some big accomplishments you have, and I want you to think about this last year. What were the goals that you met? And were you able to make a change that worked well for you? What are some of the things that you enjoyed the most over the last year? I want you to write down a few of them in your workbook. You can post one in the chat. And remember that the little things are everything. So give yourself credit, a pat on the back for the things that went right. There is always something that went well. Despite some of the hard things that may have happened to you, I know you have had some things that went well. So recognize it so that you can do more of it. And what were some of the things that moved the needle in an area that you were focused on in the last year? Maybe you tried a new morning routine that helped you set your day up for success. Or did you build a stronger relationship with your spouse or get into a new relationship that is going really well? Or did you accomplish something in your business? Did you use one of your skills or talents in a way that made a difference? Writing them down and get really clear on what went well for you. I see Lynn put that she realized she can't do everything at one time. That is a huge realization and took care of me instead of forcing myself to go back to work and healing your ankle. So that was so needed, Lynn, right? Being able to heal and get through that. I know it's been quite a few years for you and multiple surgeries. So that was huge to be able to finally get through that. And Paige, sharing my authentic why for my business, taking different actions for your health. So I see a theme with health here. I love it. Tiara Shia, being committed and intentional in building relationships with my family, friends, and business and ministry partners. Awesome. And starting your meditating again. Beautiful. Awesome. You guys got what went really well for you this year? I also want you to think that third question there is, what didn't work well for you this last year? Did you have some goals or New Year's resolutions that you didn't accomplish? And what kept you from achieving what you wanted? What distractions got in the way? Why weren't you able to stay focused on that goal? What is the story that you've told yourself about what's holding you back in the last year? So think about all of the areas of your life, relationships, career, business, finance, health, etc. Like, what didn't go right in each of those areas? Maybe you had a plan to grow your business and it didn't go the way you had planned, or you had a relationship that didn't work out, or you've got to let these things go and learn from them so that you can do better. So we want to take what serves you from each of these areas, learn from it, and leave the rest in the past. So just take a minute to write down all of those things that you feel like didn't work quite so well for you this last year. All right. You can always come back and add more to these later, but I want to make sure you have at least a few things listed out for each of these. So let me know in the chat what some of those things are. If you don't want to share the bad, that's okay. No worries. But I see we've got a few things posted in there. And this is, I always like to start with this reflection back, because if you really want to make significant progress in moving forward, you have to know what works and what doesn't work for you and then what's keeping you stuck. So being aware of it is half the battle. But you also want to make sure that your greatest pull in life is to the future. And some people live in the past and let their life be continually pulled and influenced by the past. And yes, we must remember the past and review what's happened to make it useful and to invest in our future. But the key is to make sure that the greatest pull in your life is the pull to the future. And to do that, you must be able to dream about what your future will hold. You've got to have a big purpose and objective. If these aren't very well planned, then they don't pull very hard. And that's when you have that tendency to be pulled back by the past or pulled in different directions because of events or circumstances that have happened to you. And goals are like magnets. These need to pull us, right? So the more powerful our goal is, the bigger they are, the more unique they are, the stronger they are going to pull. And if you have excellent goals and big dreams, they will pull you through all kinds of down days and distractions. So now is the time to start to really design your future so that it pulls you forward like this magnet into the future to accomplish your goals. And if you got plenty of strong goals out there to attract and pull you, it'll pull you through some of the most difficult times. If you have a spectacular vision ahead of you of where you're going and what you're going to accomplish, getting through it will be easier. So learning how to set strong goals is an incredible experience. And once you learn this, it can transform your life forever. And so we want to start with creating this bigger vision for your life. So if you flip to the next page, I want you to start thinking about, what does it look like for you? What is that big vision of what you want? What do you want to accomplish? Because if you can't imagine it, then you can't create it. Playing a bigger game in our lives means creating a bigger vision for ourselves. And we often get stuck in, how am I going to do it? Without ever giving ourselves space for plotting out what it would take for our vision to expand even further than we believe is possible. And today we're going to go big. So you ready? So start listing out some of the things that you want to accomplish, things you want to achieve, you want to do or see in the next 10 years. I'm going to play a little music for you as you do this, but I'll also be giving you some things to think about and areas that you might want to focus on while you're creating your bigger vision. Because we want to try to get to 50 here. And if you get to 50, keep going, take out another piece of paper, just keep going. It's cool. But I want you to try to get to as close to 50 as you can. And don't worry about the columns over to the right. We will get to those later. Just start writing down things you envision doing or seeing or accomplishing sometime in the next 10 years. If you think about the age you're at right now and how old you'll be in 10 years, who do you want to become in those next 10 years? What things do you need to become to be that person? Maybe you're looking to start a business. What things do you need to make happen? Is there any education that you need? You need to build a website. How much do you want to be making? What about the personal goals you might have? Places you want to go. I love travel, so this is always a long list for me. Where are some of the places that you want to go? What other personal goals do you have? Are there skills that you want to learn? An education that you want to get for yourself or even for your kids, for those of you who have kids? What experiences do you want to have? You want to write a book, a song, or a poem, or maybe to put blogs together, articles. Are you looking to get into a new relationship or maybe get out of one? You never know. Do you want to start a family or grow your family? Do you want to get a new wardrobe or start a new hobby? What other personal goals do you have? What financial goals do you have? Are there investments that you want to make? Debts that you want to pay off? A house that you want or a vacation home? Are there charitable gifts that you want to give to organizations? Be able to serve an organization in some way. You want to start saving for a trip, or for a kid's college, or something for your grandkids. Is there something you want to start saving for? What are some of your other financial goals? What are some of your business or career goals? How much do you want to make? You're working for someone else. Are you seeking a promotion? And what does that look like for you? If you have your own business, how many clients, customers, patients do you want to be serving? Who do you want to hire? Maybe you need an assistant or a marketing specialist, or you need a coach, or you need a cook. That's on my list because even though my husband likes to cook, I see the hand raised there. Like, yes. It would be so nice to just come home sometimes and have dinners made. Maybe you want to hire a cleaner so that you don't have to spend your time doing that. Who might you want to be hiring over the next several years? Is there a new program you want to launch in your business? Or something you want to create? What are your other business goals? What are your health goals? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to start doing yoga, running, or doing some other form of exercise? Maybe you have some health issues that you've been avoiding or putting off that need to be addressed. What are some of your health goals? What would give you the most incredible life? What would give you that greatest satisfaction and joy over the next 10 years? It can be little things that are important to you They may be insignificant to others, but it's important to you. Remember, we can't have it. We can't first think it. To the believer, everything is possible. Over 10 years, that is a long time. You can do a lot in 10 years. That's only 5 things per year to get to 50, right? And if you have more than 50, keep going. If you can, write them on the back of your piece of paper. In this brief life we have, we want to fill it up with the things that fulfill us and others. So, what is it that would do that for you? You know, kids by now, my kids would have like 10 pages filled up. And adults, we have to like squeeze this out of us. We try to analyze each one too much, hesitate in putting things down. So just let it flow. Don't judge. Just put it down. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. How is everyone doing? Just type in the chat and let me know how many you have so far. What number are you on? Anyone get to 50 yet? 62. Go. Oh, I love it. 61. You guys are on a roll. Has everyone gotten to their 50? 26, Dan. All right, keep going, keep going. You got this. And where are all those places you and your wife are going to travel? Where are all the places you want to go speak? Nice. Then you've gotten to 30 this time. Double what you did last time. That's great. You're on a roll. It gets easier. Awesome. I'll give you guys just a few more minutes. See what else you can come up with. Think about all the different areas of your life. What do you want to change? What do you want to see be different? What do you want to achieve? What are those OMG moments you want to create? everyone getting close? And always come back to this later and fill in more as you think about more, because as you leave here, you'll probably walk away and be like, oh yeah, I wanted to do this and I didn't write that down. Always come back and add to this. But hopefully you've gotten quite a few on your list so far. And now I want you to go through and mark the columns that say 1, 3, 5, and 10, and put a check mark next to whether this is a 1-year goal, a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, or a 10-year goal. Don't overcomplicate it. Just go with your first instinct. Some of you will try to overanalyze and figure out, okay, when can I get this done by? Just first instinct. When do you think you want to hit this and achieve this goal by? And I will give you guys a few minutes to calculate out which ones are 1, 3, 5, and 10-year goals. And once you get through with all your check marks, then you're going to go through and count them and count how many 1-year goals you had, how many 3-year goals, 5-year goals, and 10-year goals you had. All right. And when you get done with that, you can let us know in the chat how many 1-year goals and 10-year goals you had. You can just put like your number 1, 3, 5, and 10, and how many you had of each. All right. So I'll give you a few minutes to go through that list and mark off what is your time frame for wanting to achieve those. Stop counting. Once you're done counting, just type in the chat how many 1, 3, 5, 10-year goals you have. You have 25 1-year goals, just put 23 year goals, 10, just put the number in order of the 1, 3, 5, and 10. Just put a dash in between each number so we can not sure Lynn if that's 4, 3, 9, and 6 or 43, 9, and 6. Paige, I see your comment about having a couple of them that span all 4 of them. And so some of your goals you may need to break down into smaller chunks. And so this happens a lot when people are like, oh, I want to make X amount of dollars. You might need to break that down into, okay, what does 1 year look like? What does 3 years look like? What does 5 years look like? Or there may be something that's a progression, right? You can either break those down or you can put them in the 10-year, because 10 years when you'll actually finally hit that target. Now, some of you may not have any 10-year goals. And if that's you, you may need to go back and think about those longer term goals. And this shows that you are a more short-term thinker sometimes, and you might need to think harder about your bigger vision and longer term goals. And some of you may be thinking more out into the future and not have any 1-year goals. And you might be more of a visionary, and you need to go back and look at what are some of those 1-year goals that you need to be doing so that you can check things off every day. They can be little goals and steps to help you get those longer term goals. So maybe, as I was mentioning with the goal of hitting a certain number. So let's say your goal is to get to $1 million in your business, and that is your longer term goal. And you can break that down into, if you're just starting, what does that look like in the next year? Maybe you're trying to get to 100,000, and then 3 years, 500,000, whatever that looks like for you, break it down into those areas. Some of you may already be at that million mark. So what does that growth look like for you over the next 1, 3, 5 years? Yes. Samantha, you might have some things on there that are more of a to-do list. That's cool. It's all right. Yeah. So if it falls in between 2 and 3 years, put it in the 3-year. So kind of like if you're going to hit it in the next year, it'll be 1, 2 to 3 years will be in the 3-year, 4 to 5 in the 5-year, anything 6 to 10 will fall into that 10-year. No, too late. No worries. You figured it out the way you wanted it to work. All right, now I want you to go through those 1-year goals that you have. So now you've got all the 1-year goals marked, and I want you to pick out the top 5 most important ones for you to hit this next year? What are those top 5 things? So in order to stay focused this year, you've got to prioritize your goals. So we are picking the top ones that are going to keep you focused and start building out your plan. So think about which of those goals you crave the most. What do you want more of? What do you want to run away from or change this year? These are the goals that are calling you to act on them right now. And I always believe that if you're in business, one of your goals should be your financial target. So, what is that financial goal that you want to hit in the next year? And know that most people overestimate what they can do in a day, a week, or even a year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So, keep this in mind as you're looking through your top 1 year goals. Sometimes as you're looking through some of them, you may realize that your timing needs tweaking. Your goal is probably achievable, but sometimes we realize that our timing might be off. So what is achievable in the next year and your top priorities that you're going to focus on? Think about the goal in terms of your results that you want to get. And I'll give you guys another minute to pick out those top goals that you want to achieve this next year. should be those top 5. You can write them on the next page of the workbook, page 4. All right, you all have your top 5. You excited about your goals? A little worried? Are you like, yes, let's do this? One thing I've always shared with my clients is not getting caught up in the how you are going to do something. So many times we have an idea or say we want to do something, but immediately get caught up in the how, and then we shut down the desire. So don't get caught up in the how as you're doing this. A few years ago, I decided I was going to do retreats, and it was kind of, something I had always kind of wanted to do at some point, but I made a decision and was like, I'm going to do retreats. And within 2 weeks, I had another coach call me and ask me if I would co-facilitate a retreat for her in Italy. I mean, how could I say no, right? I mean, it was Italy, right? And then I was asked to facilitate a board retreat for an organization. And I also planned and had my very own first retreat. And so when I set the goal to do retreats, all of the sudden within a month, I had 3 retreats planned for that year. And this just shows the power of how, when we set our mind to do something, it can show up in many ways. And the how it happens isn't always what you were expecting. So don't get caught up in the how yet. Just focus on what you want to achieve and those results you want to achieve. So you guys got your top 5 written down on page 4. I see some of you put them in the chat. Awesome, awesome. Excellent. Love seeing those. And we'll talk more, and we're going to dive more into these too. But I first want you to think about, why are these 5 important to you? What makes them so important? Write down what it is about these goals that you selected that is important to you. Why do you want to achieve them? When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. And when people don't have strong, powerful goals, there isn't a pull to actually accomplish them. So get clear on why these are going to drive you and what makes them powerful goals for you. The purpose has to be stronger than the object. So going back to the example of wanting to make $1 million, if that was your goal, or you can, fill it in with any number, then ask yourself, what are you going to do with it? What do you want it for? What will making that amount of money do for you? How will it change your life? Then you start getting into the details, and the drama is in the details. And in this case, it's a good kind of drama. Not all drama is good, but this is good drama. And so the price gets easy if the prize gets significant. So what is the prize of getting to your goal? Self-motivation is priceless. And when we've got a strong purpose behind your goal, it will pull you towards it. So take a few minutes here and write down why these are important to you. I'm going to let you think about it and fill this out. We'll go back and play a little more music. How's everyone doing? Do you have it? Is it clear why these are so important for you? Yeah, thank you for sharing that in the chat, Tarish. Yeah, I love that. Bringing financial freedom is going to bring so much more freedom and enabling you to hire people, right? To stay in your zone of genius. That's so important, right? So you can be in your creative space. Did any of you start answering this question and realize that you don't have a strong enough reason? You can type in the chat and just put me if that was you. Maybe you realized you should be focusing on something else, or you needed to switch a goal. It wasn't strong enough when you started thinking about the reason. Or did one of your goals come out as the clear top runner because it just had such a powerful why for you? And you felt that energy behind it and the excitement started to build up as you thought about it. That is a goal that's going to pull you into the future. That is the goal you want to focus on. So circle that one. If you had that feeling as you were writing down why your goals are so important, if one of them stood out, was like, ooh, yes, I got to do this. This is like powerful. Circle that one. And this is so important because do you know how often you have to sell yourself on your goals? It's literally every single day. Every single day, you've got to resell yourself on what your goals are, reminding yourself. And we're going to talk about ways that you can do that in a little bit as well. And there are going to be distractions that keep you from reaching your goals. And you've got to have such a strong desire to reach them that it keeps you focused and helps you avoid the obstacles, or at least move past them quicker than you would have in the past, right? And Jim Rohn says that you become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it. All your goals are there to make you stronger and better and challenge you. What's important is the person you will become along the way. The person that got you to where you are today is probably not the same person who is going to get you to where you want to go. In order for your goals to grow, you also have to grow. So this next question is a really big one. Ask yourself, what person do I need to become to accomplish this list of goals? Maybe you need to reconsider some of the people you spend time with. Don't just join an easy crowd where the expectations are low and you will not grow. Go where you are challenged. Think about the people in your life. Do they challenge you? Are they going to be the ones that help you get to the next level in your life? Who do you need to become in order to accomplish these goals? This includes asking yourself, what do you need to give up? What do you need to leave behind? Do you need to stop binge watching shows? Do you need to get more structure with your days? Keep writing, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this. And we're also going to take a break at this time too. So if you need to get up and use restroom or refresh your drinks, you can do that. We'll take a little bit longer time for this one. We'll be back at 2:45. So you have a little bit of time to write this down and also take a little bit of a break. right, welcome back. Welcome back. Are you clear on who you need to become and what might need to change in your life? Type in the chat 1 or 2 of the realizations that you had from this question. What did you realize needs to change? Who do you need to become? Is there something you need to give up, or maybe something you need to go do? Yes, need to be totally focused, disciplined, intentional, well-managed, structured, individual, and consistent networker to accomplish these goals. Yeah, you can't go everywhere, support everyone, have to say no more often. That is setting boundaries, right? Like understanding what those boundaries are, the ones that being able to say yes to the things that you know are going to help you achieve it. And being able to say no to the things that you know are those distractions and having that differentiator. And so sometimes it's getting that clarity and that lens to see what are the things that are distractors and what are the things that are going to help you go further. Yes. Awesome. You guys are doing amazing. Angeline says I must become clear and focused and truthful and honest with myself with my limitations. I can't do everything. I need myself. Oh, so hard for you. I know to say that, right? It's so many times we want to just do it all, be it all as the mom and grandma as you are, that you're like jumping in and helping everyone else. And sometimes I just got to realize can't do it all myself in my business either. Need the support, need the help. Absolutely. Big thing. So hopefully you got some good realizations through this, because now we're going to get into the action plan. Because a goal without a goal without a plan is just a wish, right? We want more than a wish. We want you guys hitting these goals and making them happen. So it's time to take these top goals that you want to focus on this year, and we're going to break these down into your first quarter benchmarks. So you can create your monthly milestones and write the action steps that you want to take over the next 30, 60, and 90 days. And you may need to break some of these down even further. For example, let's start with your income goal. And if you need to break that down, so say we'll keep some numbers easy. You want to make 100,000 or replace your corporate past income, then what do you want to be making in the next 90 days? Now that can vary. As you could have a plan to make 25,000 per quarter and just equal things out. Or you may need to gradually increase your monthly income each month if you're just getting started and you don't already have that coming in. So you may want to start out with 15,000 in your first quarter, or $5,000 per month, and then increase to 25 to the next quarter, and then to 30, and then the last 2 quarters being at 30 to get to 100,000. So think about your goal and what's that big benchmark for each of those for this first quarter. What is that going to be? And for some of your goals, some of them may be achievable all in the first quarter. And some of them may be goals that you want to focus on later this year. And so what would be an action you might want to take, or something you want to achieve in the first quarter to help you get there? What's that benchmark? Once you have that benchmark, we're going to start building out your 90-day action plan. So you can, once you've got that benchmark, you can go to the next page in your workbook, and we're going to build this out. So think about, what actions do you need to be doing? So if you have a goal to have a certain number of clients or patients, what actions do you need to be doing in order to get them? Do you need to go to networking events, get booked for speaking gigs, ask current clients for referrals? What action steps do you need to take to reach your goal? So we're going to start with one goal. You've got 5 pages for this to do each of your 5 major goals. And so remember what we talked about, like some of these you may only have 1 or 2 action steps in the first quarter. In other goals, you may have 20 to 30 action steps in the first quarter, depending on when the focus is going to be and when you want to achieve that goal by. So when you start looking at this, what action steps do you need to take to reach the goal? Another example might be you want to launch a new program for your business. So think about exactly what steps you need to take to make that happen over the next 30, 60, and 90 days. You need to develop an outline of the content for the program. You need to put together a sales page. You need to possibly hire a graphic designer or someone to create the document, develop a promotional package that will include things like your emails, social media posts, live videos, and so on, all of the marketing, and put together follow-up email sequences. So those are all things that might go into developing what your new program is. So do you get the idea? Some of you may not be exactly sure what steps that you need to take. So your action step might be to reach out to someone who has achieved that goal already, or to hire a coach to help you get through it. So what are the first few things that you need to do, and what is the timing for when you plan on doing it? I'm going to give you some time to work on this because this is really diving deep into this and getting some clarity. We'll walk through some examples as we go through this. So if anyone wants to give me another example, I'll talk through an example while you guys are thinking through this as well. So if you want to give me an example of one of your first quarter benchmarks, and I will walk through enroll in a program with a plan done with me. So tell me a little bit more, Paige, what that means and what type of program.
It's called a Silver Lining Action Plan, and it's with a group called Silver Linings that I connected with on Alignable. And they have a whole system set up that I could do and work through that would move my business forward.
Awesome. And so your goal is to enroll with the program, get clarity on some of your next steps and what they recommend for you to do, and then implement some of those steps. So if you know some of the steps, you can list out those steps and the things that you'll need to do within there as part of your action plan, but set a date of when you are going to do that by. Lynn mentioned getting known. So Lynn wants to get more visibility. So let's break that down a little bit, Lynn. With your Etsy shop, getting exposure. So that could be, let's start with social media. So you could be certain social media posts in order to inform more people. That could be getting out in front of more people. I know you do a lot of expos and have booths at places. That's getting you known. That could be partnering with some local restaurants or local craft places that sell different arts and things where maybe you can get some of your photos into their locations. And I'm just giving you some ideas, and you can just, pull out the ones that you're like, okay, these are the ones I'm going to focus on. But also it could be, running a small ad on Etsy, because it also helps with the Google search. And so seeing how you can improve some of the SEO there as well. So think about the different ways that you can get known. How can you get involved in other groups to get people to know who you are and see some of your beautiful photos and want to purchase more from you? So, all right, I'm going to play some music again for you guys to really start diving into this and working on this. And we'll come back and answer some questions as well in a little bit. How are you guys doing so far? Thumbs up. All right. Any other examples you want to walk through? Because I think sometimes you get stuck in like, okay, what are the things I need to do? And it's hard sometimes to get down to the granular steps of, okay, in order to do that, I need to do what? So I know someone mentioned speaking before. I know some of you have written books. Anyone wanting to write a book this next year? Wanting to get more speaking engagements? What's something you guys are looking to do? What's one of your goals? You can type it in the chat, or you can come off mute if someone wants to share. We can talk through one. All right, speaking engagements and get in front of more people, Angeline. So with that, let's break it down, right? So first step is knowing your niche in the target area, right? Which I know you know yours, but I want to say that for everyone else. Knowing the types of people you want to be in front of. So if you're not clear on who that is, that would be your first step, because you don't want to just go speak to any random audience. That's not going to help you to grow your business and get more clients. Unless you have a much bigger mission, but most of you are here wanting to grow. And the reason for wanting to get more speaking engagements is to get more clients. And so being clear on what that niche is. Then you also need to start doing some Google searches and find the right types of programs, and could be associations, it could be organizations that fall into that, but also look at who else serves your ideal clients, but in a different way. So these are what we call parallel speaking engagements, where you can speak on someone else's stage that also has your ideal clients sitting in front of them, but they've already done the work to get those people there. So who else serves? And so Angeline, I know you serve veterinarians, so I'm going to use that as the example. So who else serves veterinarians, right? So that might be, there's software companies that actually are focused on working with veterinarians. There's, I'm sure there's several different types of like therapeutic companies, whether it's, they do x-ray, they do certain therapeutical things in the offices with those animals. It could be someone who's serving them with a different angle. So it could be lawyers who serve and help veterinarians. It could be other business coaches that focus directly on them. And that would be a great audience for you to get in front of, because the business coach is already working with them on growing their business. You come in and you're talking to them about the tax strategy piece of that. And that's a perfect pairing. Like that business coach is going to see that as a huge win. So those are just a few ideas. So like getting really clear on who else is serving my clients and how can I partner with them or collaborate with them to speak in front of them. Association meetings are always a great one. And so start your research, make your list, and then start doing the reach outs, right? Just start reaching out. When is your next event? What type of speakers are you looking for? Can I do a special webinar for your audience? Like, there's lots of things that you can offer in different ways, but first have that conversation with the people to see, if it's an association, it's more about what events do they have coming up that they need speakers for. If it's, the business coach or software company, it may be they'll let you put together a special webinar or workshop for their list that they'll just promote, and people will come just because they want to learn more about how they can save more on their taxes, right? So all of you should be thinking about, if you want to be a speaker, what are the types of audiences I want to be in front of? Who do I want to really serve? How do I serve them in this way? And so your action plans are, getting that list, start reaching out to that list, have a goal of how many you want to have booked in the first quarter. So we know what we're targeting. And then making sure, if you don't have your talk done, right, we've got to develop the talk. And so then it's, developing the talk, getting the message clear, getting your call to action really powerful so that people want to come in. And then the pieces that people forget about when they're speaking is the aftermath, I call it. And so it's not that you just get a speaking engagement, you get up on stage and all is good after, you just get up and you convert everybody and everything's great. There is so much that needs to happen after that event. And so whether first thinking about what are you offering from stage, and I know Angeline, you and I have worked on this, so I'm saying this for a lot of others listening as well, but what are you offering on stage? So what's that free offer you have? Typically, you're not making a paid offer unless you're doing a paid promotional sponsorship type speaking. And so how are you going to move people through that? What is the follow-up sequence that you need to have in place? So those would be action steps that you need to have done. Also, your nurturing emails that you want to have for them afterwards. And then follow-up calls. And this is where most people kind of let these things go and they don't start reaching out to people individually that have opted into their list or shown some type of interest. And so how can you connect with them and follow up with them and get them into an engaging conversation so that they want to take the next step with you? Helpful questions on that? Angeline or anyone else who wants to do speaking, any questions, comments on that? No, I don't. Thank you. That was good. I wrote it down. Awesome. Excellent. All right. So hopefully that gives you guys some ideas of things that you need to put into these action plans step by step. So I know, Samantha, you said you had a bunch of to-do lists on your 90-day vision. So those probably came in handy, just being able to move them into your action plans for the next 90 days. Yes, awesome. And so as you're looking at some of those things that you want to be doing, we want to make sure they're hitting the mark for you and moving you towards that big vision. Right? So I want to know, how are you guys feeling about your action plans so far? I know you may need to spend a little more time in honing some of these, but how are you feeling so far? Are you clear on what some of these first next steps are for you? I want to make sure if that is good. This is great. Awesome. Do you know what you need to do first in order to start making progress to your goals? So does anyone have any questions? You can type them in the chat, or if you want to come off mute, happy to answer a few questions right now.
One of my actions can be creating a community member journey or two, and then I can also find out about speaking at a continuing medical education lunch and learn locally.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it, Paige. Excellent. So in order to speak at the community, it's reaching out, finding out who the contact is, and working with them to see what will work for them and how you can get in front of that audience. Awesome. Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Anyone want to jump in? Don't be shy. Not, it's okay. We'll keep moving, but I just want to give you a chance to jump in with any questions, or if you're stuck on like, I'm not sure what the first step is, or I'm not sure what the 10th step is, and I need to figure this out. Just let us know. All right. So I want to ask, as you went through this process, what came up for you? Did anyone start to get a little anxious as they thought about everything that they needed to do? Angeline's like, yes, yes, yes. I see your head nodding. I don't see all of you, so you'll have to type in the chat. Let me know how you were feeling, what you needed to do to hit these goals. Or did anyone start to wonder how they were going to do it all themselves? We heard from a few of you, you need to hire people so you can stay in your zone of genius. Or was anyone confused or not really sure what action steps they needed to take to hit that goal? It's okay if you did. It just means that we need to go deeper into the goals and what is the obstacle for you that is keeping you from achieving it. And we're going to dive into this more coming up as well. So we're going to be talking about these obstacles because you've got these goals and these, you're feeling, some of you are feeling anxious, some of you are feeling really good. But we know that if you haven't hit the goal so far, it's probably because there's been some obstacle or you weren't focused on it, right? And so I love the quote that's on your workbook by Henry Ford that says, obstacles are those frightful things that you see when you take your eye off the goal. And that is so true. Like it's those things that get in the way when we're not really focused. And so I want you to ask, what obstacle do you need to overcome in order to hit your goals? You see, there's probably something keeping you from achieving this goal, especially if this is something that you've been saying you wanted to do for a long time. So is it fear that you have coming up for you? Is there someone standing in your way of achieving it? Is there a mindset shift that needs to happen? Do you need to get more clarity about how to do something? Do you need to hire someone instead of trying to figure out the how? Hire someone who, I would say, instead of the how, ask who can you hire that can help you with that? Yeah, I see fear of technology. Yep. So who can help you with that? Then, right? Who can help you with the technology piece? Or maybe you need to learn a new skill. What are those obstacles that might be getting in your way that could stop you from getting these goals? So just take a couple minutes and write them down. What's coming to you when you look at this goal, what came up for you as you were writing out your action plan, or when you're thinking about this goal, what are those obstacles that are hindering you from actually being able to achieve it, or that you could foresee stopping you from staying focused or stopping you from actually hitting that goal? What are those things?
Keeping your eye on the goal is like looking past the jump you're riding a horse over.
Yes, absolutely. You're not supposed to look at it. Awesome. I'll give you guys just a couple minutes to write down what's coming up for you when you think about those obstacles. anyone wants to share their obstacles, feel free to put it in the chat. We're here to support and recognize that we all have hurdles to overcome. So you are not alone in this. And if you have a hurdle, someone else has probably had a similar hurdle, and maybe they have some tips in helping you get over it. We can help you here today. So I see Lynn said she's going to use my team in helping her with her tech issues and Geek Squad. So love that. I'm a bit of a tech junkie. And always have it. So I also want you to write down, what actions do you need to take in order to overcome these obstacles? So if you've identified a specific obstacle, so let's say, you're just not being able to stay focused because too many things going on and you get pulled in different directions. And so what is an action that you can take to help you stay more focused? What is something that you can do to put some boundaries in place? And when you can identify the actions that will help you overcome the obstacle, it is going to take you from being stuck and unsure to taking action and getting the help and support you need. So just take a minute and write down the actions that you can take to help you overcome those obstacles you wrote down. Procrastination from posting, right? And so what's an action you can take, Lynn, to help you overcome that procrastination from posting on Facebook? Maybe you schedule it in your calendar every single day to do the task, and then check in with someone. So maybe you need an accountability partner to say, hey, did you post today? And you can find someone who is looking to do something similar and check in on each other and help hold each other accountable. It kind of goes into that last question there as well, is asking yourself who can help you with that. Maybe you need to hire or get guidance from somebody. And so when you can identify the person, now all you need to do is reach out. If you don't know exactly who that person is by name yet, so for instance, maybe you want to publish a book and you don't have a publisher yet, but you want to work with someone who does self-publishing and helps you get it set up on Amazon. So write down the type of person you need to find that could help you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So who could help you? These last two questions on this page. What actions do you need to be taking? And then who can help you, or who do you need to hire or get guidance from to help you overcome these obstacles? Give you a few minutes to think about those couple questions. Are you feeling a little better about some of these obstacles? Getting some action steps that are going to help you overcome them, figuring out who can help you with them. Obviously, if you were one of my clients already, I should be on your list there and helping you overcome some of those obstacles. So, if you had any big realizations in this exercise, feel free to come off mute and share, or if you want to type it in the chat. Love to hear, because I think this is one that not enough people spend time on preparing for. People set goals and they're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my action plan to go get it. But they don't look at what's going to get me stuck, what's going to get in my way. So by going through this this process, this can really help you as those obstacles come up. You're like, I'm already prepared for this. This was the action I was going to take if this thing got in my way.
It works better for me if, say, I talk with my small business liaison with the Chamber of Commerce about things, and we strategize what are the smallest possible components we can take each action part into, and I'm more likely to follow up and connect with people when I know exactly who.
Yeah, right. When you know who it is and you're really clear on that, it's easier to do, right? Thanks for sharing, Paige. Awesome. All right. We're going to keep going, and we're going to talk about what you need to do to also help you in shifting your mindset. We'll talk about these daily manifestations. And this quote, Oprah Winfrey said, every time you state what you want or believe, you're the first to hear it. It's a message to both you and others about what you think is possible. So don't put a ceiling on it. When I decided that I wanted to leave my corporate job and start my business, I had a couple things I would do. I had a mantra I would say every day. I would say, I am so happy and grateful now that I have quit my job and I am full-time in my business, and I get to work with incredible clients that are more than willing to pay me because their lives are being changed and they are excited about their futures. And I have been able to replace my income and love what I do every day. And I would say that over and over again. And I also had set a goal that I wanted to hit for my bonus at work that year. That was far more than I had ever received before. But I knew I was making a big leap and I needed to have some security in place for my family. And I wrote that number down and I thought about it often. And I used that number in my password to log into my work computer so that every time I entered my password, it was a reminder of the goal. And when the time came for my bonus, my boss called me and told me that the number, and it was the exact number I had written down for months, not $1 more or $1 less. And I couldn't believe it. But that is the power of manifestation. When you know how to do it, when you know how to put your mind to what you want, you can manifest it. And so if you want a sign that it's time to do something, we need to be really clear on what those goals are. For me, that was a sign that it was time to leave my job and start my business. I could have said if I had gotten more, but I might have been like, maybe I should stay around till next year and see what I get. Or if I got less, I could have been like, well, nope, didn't hit the goal. I'm just going to, it's not time to go. But I got the exact number that I had asked for. And so taking these steps, taking these actions, like Paige said, the small actions every day make a huge difference. So it's time to create your daily mantra. What is your biggest desire? Create a mantra that you are going to say every day. Include what it is that you desire to get and by when you want to achieve it. So you can even use the language that I was using, starting with, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then fill that in. Now that what? Now that you've gotten into hitting this goal, what have you achieved? And how has this changed your life. I want you to really think about what this is for you and create this mantra for yourself because it will have a powerful impact for you every single day. And I love to use the words, I am so happy and grateful, because when you put yourself in a state of gratitude for what you have, for what you know is coming, it opens things up for you and expands your way of thinking and says, I want more of that. So what is your new mantra going to be? I am so happy and grateful now that what happened. I'll give you just a minute to write that out. And I want you to type them in the chat because I want to see them. I want to celebrate with you what you are going to achieve. Type your new mantra in the chat when you got it done. see a couple of them in there. You guys share what your new mantra is. And I love seeing these. I love them coming in. These are great. And think about what else you might want to add in there to give some more specificity to it, right? So what does, Lynn, I love this. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm a very good photographer whose work is selling online. So let's expand that a little bit, right? It's selling online and bringing in the income that I desire every month, right? So it brings in the consistency piece of it. It brings in how much you want to be making. So be a little more specific. Does that help? All right. Awesome. Awesome. I'd love to
Yes.
see. Yes. All right. I'd love to see some of your other mantras as well. These are so good. And while you're typing them in, I also want you to copy these, and I want you to take out your phone, and I want you to open up your reminders app, and I want you to copy this mantra and set a daily reminder for this to go off every single morning around the time that you are getting ready to start work, so that this pops up on your phone daily. And when it does, do not ignore it. It is so easy when you get those things popping up on your phone, just be like, yeah, clear, check it off and not actually read it. But I want you to take a minute to read it and say it out loud while you are embodying that feeling of it already happening and how you will celebrate when it is done. All right. So Lynn asked, how do you set a reminder? So I don't know what phone you have, Lynn, but on most phones, there is an app called Reminders. And so if you can find your reminder app.
I'm looking, I have an Android.
Okay. I do not have an Android, so it's a little harder for me to tell you exactly where to go.
I'm looking.
Yeah. And sometimes if you just type in reminder in the app, it'll tell you where to go to find it. And then once you're there, it's pretty easy to set this up. So make sure you don't set it up just for tomorrow, but you set this up as a daily recurring reminder. So if anyone has an Android and can help Lynn out, just put in the chat exactly where she should go to find that. All right. I love seeing these come in. You guys are doing amazing. You got your daily mantra. And so I also want to talk about the new habits that we need to implement. So we got a mantra. That's great. That's helping us anchor this in every day. But we also want to create daily activities that are going to make a difference. So I mentioned, I was typing in on my password every single day, multiple times a day, the number I wanted to hit. So little things like that could be a daily habit that you can do. One other thing that I did when I was starting to think about leaving my job and start my business is that instead of moping into the office every morning, I decided to take that time on my walk from the parking garage to the office to envision what it would be like the day I gave my resignation. And I started walking in with a little swagger, and I was thinking about how it would feel when I got to turn in the resignation. And I was now able to focus on my business full time and doing what I love. And instead of getting sad and mopey and I just got to go in the office one more day, I started to get excited. And I set that mindset up before I went in to do the work and knew that the work I was doing and where I was working at was providing for me at that time and giving me the ability to start working on my business. And so I started to feel more grateful for it. And I was able to be more focused when I was at work because now I had a really good schedule because I'm a big scheduler and time management. And so I had set times aside outside of work where I would work on my business. And so I would just, I developed this little ritual, I'll call it, that I would do like every morning. And I would like, I'd almost kind of be like dancing in, and people are like looking at me like, what is going on with her? And I'm like, just pretending like I'm listening to some music or something. And brought this new energy that wouldn't have been there before. And then a couple years into my business, I realized that I hadn't hit my target at one point. And I realized that I was doing so many things. But one of the things that was falling behind for me was doing my reach outs and follow ups, because I felt like it was really salesy and it wasn't something that I was really good at that point. And so the new habit I had to implement at that point in my business was to take 30 minutes every day to do reach outs. And that looked a little bit different for me every day. Sometimes it was reaching out for speaking engagements. Sometimes one day it was reaching out to do follow-up calls. One day it was reaching out to new prospects. And so I put a pattern in place and a new habit that I needed in order to help me hit my goal. So what is it for you? What new habit or activity do you need to implement on a daily basis to help you reach your biggest desires? And if you have other things you guys have done, you help share them in the chat. It gives other people ideas of some of the things that they could be doing as well. Give you guys a minute. We won't take too long on this. We're going to be wrapping up soon. What's going to be your new daily habit or activity? These don't have to be complicated, right? These are just little things that can help you get into a better state, a better place, actions that are going to help you get to your goal, or a morning routine that's going to set you up for success because you feel more energized. So what is it for you? Are you guys enjoying these sunsets on these slides?
Mhm.
Yeah, I know, Lynn, you're the photographer, of course, is the first one to see.
Yeah.
So most all of these were either taken by myself, my husband, my sister, or my sister-in-law, because they all, not me, I will say I'm the worst photographer of the four of them, but they are all amazing photographers. And several of these, this one is actually out of my backyard. So we live on a lake, and we have beautiful sunset views. And this one thing that I am always grateful for. And so it always puts me in this state of gratitude when I can look out my window and see these beautiful sunsets. Awesome. I hope you guys have what your daily habits are going to be. And next we are going to talk about how will you hold yourself accountable? And for some of you, that might be who is going to help hold you accountable as well. So many times the reason that goals don't get hit is because there was no accountability to do it. It didn't matter. It was just something you put out there. And there's no real drive to get there. So what will happen if you don't? Maybe you need to find an accountability partner. Maybe you need a coach to keep you on track, or maybe you need both. Most people let themselves down way easier than they will if they're checking in with someone else. It's just easy to let ourselves down. It's something that we don't do. But if you know you have to check in with somebody else, like Lynn, we talked about your Facebook post. Like if you know that every day you've got to check in with someone and you're like, I did my post today, you're not going to let them down. It will be much harder for you to do that than it would be to just let yourself down, because we'll make up 100 excuses of why we can't do it for ourselves. So take a couple minutes to just think about what your accountability plan is going to be to help you get there. All right, do you have your accountability plan? Some actions there to help you get set up for success. So as you reflect on all of these goals and what obstacles you need to overcome, what word or words describe what you need to become or do to help you achieve these goals? So you have a space there to write down your word of the year. And sometimes I like to do 3 of them because sometimes one word just doesn't encompass everything. So you can do 1 to 3 words that are going to be your inspiration this year, that are going to help you achieve this goal. What are those 3 words that encompass kind of everything that we've talked about in setting your goals? I'd love to hear them, so type them in the chat. So this last year, one of my words was fun, because I wanted to incorporate more fun into what I did and into my business. Clarity, Kendra, love that. What other words are going to help you stay focused, remind you? We did an exercise at one of our retreats, it was like a year or so ago. We had a little bottle and we wrote out our words of the year on a little slip of paper. We rolled it up and put it in a bottle with some sand. And I know several of my clients, like when we're talking, they will pull up their bottle and they're like, these are my words. This is my reminder. So reflection within, badass, Samantha, like it. Great page. Awesome. You guys can keep typing those in and let us know what it is. Dan, pay it forward. It's beautiful. All right, we are coming to the end, and I like to use this wrap-up tool on your last page there to summarize some of the ahas that you've had. So Jack Canfield, the quote on that page said, people don't need more information. They need aha moments. They need awarenesses. They need things that actually shift and change them. We have so much information out there, but the real thing is getting those aha moments. So I hope this workshop today has brought some aha moments for you and the awarenesses that you need. So reflect back on the last couple of hours that we've been here and write down your top breakthroughs or insights that you have gotten. I want you to write those down and anchor those in. What are the top breakthroughs or insights that you've gotten today doing these exercises? You guys have some of your talk breakthroughs. Paige, thank you for sharing small actions. Bridge the gap between big goals. And I mean, that means and your goals, right? Awesome. Anyone who have any they want to share? Big takeaways. You can unmute. Lynn, you can do this. Yes. Love that. Accountability structure, SMART goals. Awesome, Kendra. Excellent. You guys are doing amazing and holding out. I know this has been a long 3 hours. So Angeline, I see your hand. Did you want to share?
Yes, I just wanted to share that the breakthrough I received today is where I see I'm lacking is in the mindset for me and to be consistent with working with myself and doing mindset exercise. Um, to repeat my mantras, to have the goals and actually know what they are, even though I write them down and visualize them. This time I'm going to move a little step forward is to actually post them on my wall, post
Yes.
pictures, so it's visible every day. So I think the biggest thing is just being more active with my mindset to actively participate in the things I need to do to improve my mindset and to get refocused, stay focused, not that fractured focused, and being clear on what I want. And that just takes time. I have to take time with myself to do it. Um, and scheduling that time on my calendar and then being truthful and honest with myself to honor that time on the schedule and do it.
Yeah.
To know I know myself. So I just got to be truthful to myself and be honest with myself and honor myself, that I deserve it and I'm worth it and I can do it. And there's nothing wrong with it, to spend time with myself to improve myself. So that was my big takeaway.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. So good. And yes, all of you take these goals, post them on your wall, keep them in front of you. I love like creating a screenshot of it and having it as your back, like your lock screen on your phone or like something you're going to see often and that is going to pop up and you can visualize it and see it. You can focus on it. It's so good. And being true to yourself. I love that. We've got to be true to ourselves. We got to be honest. Like, what are we really going to do? What are we really going to allow ourselves to do? So, Dan, go ahead.
Probably what I got. I'm not sure if I can see you or anybody can see me, but In a way, I think bottom line is we're proactive rather than reactive, and we live a life without regret as opposed to regret. So
Mm,
the idea of looking at our future is in the days ahead, not in the past, but more into the future about what we want. And we're more disciplined and more focused on what it is that we want to achieve. It's more to the idea we have a blueprint, we have a plan.
yeah, absolutely. Now you have your plan, you have your blueprints, you're ready to move forward. So I'm just going to ask these last couple of questions on here. I want you to think about what words can help you get back into your current action state of mind. So when we talked about what does it mean if you don't hit these goals? So that last question on there, we really want to solidify this. How important are these goals to you? So writing down, what pain will you feel if you don't take action? These last couple questions on here, I'm just going to give you a couple minutes for those, but I want you to think about how this will impact you if you don't hit your goals. Who will it affect? What negative impact will it have if you don't start taking action to do this? Right. I hope you have something there. You can always come back and add more to this. So I know that some of you probably need to go back and build out your action plans a little bit more. You may need to think a little bit more about what this really is going to do for you and what this means to you. I'd love to hear from some of you, how was this experience for you? You can type it in the chat. What did you get out of this? What was this experience like? You feeling good about this? You are so welcome, Timothy. I love being here and doing this with you guys. So you are very welcome, and I appreciate that you are here. And love to hear from you guys. What is it? And while you guys are typing those things in the chat, I just want to share with you the 5 keys to achievement, because what I have found is that when someone isn't able to make a shift or achieve a goal that they really want, it's typically because one of these 5 factors. The first one is clarity. And, I know, Kendra, you use that as your word. This is my formula, clarity trifecta. Clarity means they are not clear on what their goal is, what it really needs to be, or how to actually take the right steps to make it happen. And this can show up in a lack of focus because you aren't really clear on what you need to be doing. This can show up in having too many goals, or you end up trying to do too much all at once. And so it's really important to have that clarity of what you need to focus on when, and doing the right things at the right time. And not having clarity is like spinning in the wind, like these wind chimes here, that you get some movement, but you end up just spinning your wheels. And the second one is commitment. And I typically see they don't have a strong enough why or a pull into the future, like we talked about. They get started on it and then distractions come and they go off on another path because their commitment to the goal wasn't strong enough. And this can be, for some people, their commitment to living inside of their comfort zone and not wanting to do things differently, which leads us to the third factor, which is courage. They let the fear keep them stuck and they don't take the steps to see it through. And this also shows up as excuses like, I'm not ready. It's not the right time. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough money or time or experience. It will take too long. Or finding the courage starts with just one step at a time. So right now, go back and look at your 90-day action plan and circle one action that you are going to do in the next 24 hours. If you can do it by the end of the day today, that would be more ideal. Let's get it. Take action right now. I know you took a big step just in coming to this workshop, but what is one other thing that you can do today from your 30-day column that will be the one step that will get you moving? Then once you take that first step, you'll find the courage to take another, and then your momentum will start to build. And then there's confidence. Confidence is your faith and belief that you can actually do it. There are many confidence killers. Perfectionism is one of them. When you get caught up into everything having to be perfect, you end up not making progress because very few things in life are perfect. And the first time you do anything, it's never going to be perfect. And you've got to be confident enough to know that it's going to be okay to make mistakes. And when you do, you will figure out how to make it better the next time. And this is how you get better and confidence continues to build. Expectations can also be a confidence killer. When we have these fantasy expectations, it only brings disappointment. Be realistic and let go of how everything needs to play out and just let some of it progress as it does naturally once you commit to the goal. So letting go of how, like we talked about before, and believing the path will show up. And then there's consistency. And this is the other area that will keep you from achieving that goal. It takes consistency to start getting the momentum going. And once it's going, it gets easier. Those first couple of months are hard to change a habit or do something differently. But once you've done it consistently, it becomes a habit. And then you do it without thinking about it. But during those first few months, you've got to find ways to stay on track and not get distracted. You have to take consistent actions towards your goals. Having accountability will help with this. Now, I'd love to go through everyone's goals on this webinar and make sure that you've got all the right pieces in place and you're all set up to have a successful year. But I know that we don't have time for that right now, or we'd be going here for days probably. So what I want to do is give you the opportunity to talk to me individually after this workshop, and I will help you get even more specific with your 90-day plan and give you some additional tools that will help you reach those goals. And what we're going to do on this call, for those of you who want to do this, we're going to review your vision and your goals to ensure that they align with where you want to go longer term. We will validate your 90-day plan so that it is solid and you feel like you are walking away with something you can go implement right now. And we will expand on your action steps so that you haven't missed anything and that you can see the exact steps that it's going to take to help you reach that goal. And we will clarify your why and your drive behind wanting these actions and these goals. And we'll make sure you have that powerful pull into the future to meet these goals so that you don't get sidetracked by the distraction. We will identify any obstacles that might be in your way so that you can put a plan in place to help you remove those obstacles. And we will discuss how you can eliminate the distractions by taking a look at what else might be getting in your way and making a plan for that. So this could also be some of those goals that don't really align with your longer term vision that you need to set aside for now. You see, I want to make sure that you get set up, right, for this new year with a clear vision, goals, that excites you and a plan that you will get to be on your way to achieving them. So normally I charge over $500 for these calls, and I had every intention of making an offer today and giving you a discount to get your direct feedback. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, after losing my friend this week, I was reminded of why I started this business and how I really want to see more people be able to reach their vision and dream even quicker so they can live a more fulfilling life. So for those of you who are ready to make a shift, hit those goals this year, and I've opened up a few spots in the next week on my calendar to review your action plan. And this is going to be a free call. Totally change this today so that I could help more of you here because you showed up and you're doing the work and you've stayed with me here to the end. And so I know some of you are already my clients and you don't need to schedule this call with me because we'll talk about it during your next session. We already have plans for that. And now some of you are probably thinking, I got this. I don't need another call. I'm completely clear on what I need to do. And I know I hear you. And that's exactly what Mia said to me before we got on a call together. She had actually already sat down and figured out all of her goals for the next year. And she had even done her budget and knew exactly what she needed to make. And she shared these with me. And after we got done talking, this is what she had to say. She said, Tami gave me the actionable steps, told me the exact people I needed to go talk to, and the exact numbers I needed to know in order to hit my goals. She even showed me how one of my goals was just going to be a distraction, and it wasn't the right time for me to start doing the one thing in my business yet. And it was so eye-opening and pure gold. Now, Mia came into the call with a decent plan and action steps of what she needed to do. But after we talked, she had a plan that was pure gold, as she called it. She was about to start something that was going to put a huge project in place for her business, but it wasn't going to make her the money that she wanted. But yet she had a goal of increasing her income 4 times what she had made the prior year. And after I showed her how her one project wasn't going to help her get to this longer financial goal, she realized that the financial goal was more important right now, and she needed to put the other goal on hold. It just wasn't the right time for her based on where she was in her business to do that. And it's so important to know what to do when and when is the right time. And I want to make sure you also don't have any of these distraction goals, as I call them, to ensure that you have a solid plan that you feel is pure gold that's going to help you fill in any pieces that you might be missing. So to schedule a call, all you have to do is go to the link. Let me paste that in the chat for you guys. For those of you who want to jump on a call with me, I'll take a look at your plan, help you get some clarity, help you figure out those next steps. Make sure you have that pure gold action steps, everything you want to do and where you want to go so that you walk away feeling confident with this, knowing what you want. So what we're going to do in this vision strategy call is review your vision, your goals, your action steps, and I will give you practical steps that you can take and make sure you are on target to reach your goals. There are probably some pieces you have missing in there, and I can help you figure out how to fill in some of those blanks. And we will make sure that you don't have any distractions or obstacles in the way. Too many people get the shiny object syndrome, right? And they start trying new things, but many times those aren't the right things based on what your bigger vision is, or they may not be the right next step to help you get to some of your more important goals faster. So that is something we're going to look at. And what makes the most sense for you right now based on your current situation and where you are starting from. Some of you may have really big, lofty goals that you want to achieve this year and even in the next 90 days, but do you know if it's really practical to reach it? So what's the reality of reaching your goal? I'm not trying to say that you can't reach the goal, but what I will do for you on the call is show you how you can break that goal down to figure out if it's practical and what the next steps are that you will need to take. Others of you have too many ideas, not sure what to do next. And so I can help you come up with the ones that are really going to move the needle for you. Now, some of you have had the same goal on your list for years and don't seem to ever accomplish them. And it could be because you don't have a practical plan, or it could be that you're just so stuck in your comfort zone or trapped by fears and excuses that you don't make any progress. Or you might be one who makes a little progress and then you have a setback that has you going in circles and constantly starting over. So if any of these describe you and you really want to get out of this pattern and finally make this goal a reality, then we will identify the one thing that is holding you back from achieving this dream. And this is where Sonia was when I met her. And she was stuck with some decisions that she needed to make and was too afraid to move forward. She would make a little progress in her business and then get set back and not know how to make progress. And family concerns came up and she just wasn't getting any momentum. And after working with Sonia in just one session, this is what she had to say about how I was able to help her identify what was holding her back. She said, Tami listens deeply and gets where you are like no one else. Where other coaches would each discern a different part of what held me back in specific areas of my life, she discerned them all, plus the big picture and how it was all connected. After years of trying to figure this out with other coaches, she did it in one session. And she followed with a healing that was even stronger, sense of clarity. And now I am making decisions faster and easier and building movement and momentum where there had been struggle and stagnation. So as you can see, you don't have to keep struggling and not making progress. You don't have to keep wishing, because it's time to make those goals a reality. And I'm here to help you. So all you have to do is click on that link in the chat, set up a time that works for you this next week. Don't leave this workshop with a list that you can go put away and forget about, but take the first action of having someone else review the plan and ensure it's achievable. That is that it's what really is going to help you in growing, and that you don't have anything in your way of making this a reality. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all your goals and your action plans and helping you ensure that this is your year to be successful. As I mentioned, I normally charge over $500 for these sessions, but because you're here, you stayed with me to the end, and I really want you to be successful this year, I'm doing this for free. And you might be wondering why. And I talked about I wasn't going to do this for free. I changed my mind today when I was reflecting on some things that have happened. And there's also two other parts to this. I really do care and I want to help you get this right. And this is also one way that I can show you the value I provide as a coach. And if it feels right, you may decide to continue to work with me. And as you see the value, you may decide you want to do more with me. Or you may decide that you want to walk away with your plan and go implement it yourself. There is no obligation one way or the other. All I wish is you the best, and just to be happy and that you have a clear plan and know your next step. Or you may realize after we get your plan in place that you need more support, direction, and accountability to make sure you reach those goals, and decide to work with me. Either is totally fine. But I know that if you go now and set up your vision strategy call, it is going to get you even closer to having a clear plan that is practical and still exciting and pulls you into the future. My schedule is updated and you can just click on that link, schedule the time, and I'm excited to see all you are going to achieve in this new year. So I want to thank you for joining me today, and I wish you a happy holidays. I hope you enjoy your time, and I will leave this up for just a minute if someone's still grabbing the link there so they can grab that. And I am looking forward to seeing you all soon. I hope you have an amazing and blessed day and a wonderful holiday. It was great to be here with you all.
Thanks, Tami.
You are so welcome. Good to see you all.
Yes, thank you.
You are welcome. Have an amazing day, everyone.